Hey y'all,
Hi.
welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans.
Yes.
I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as 2Liz4U, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry, and on Instagram I am pretty much posting as Knitting in Our Jeans. I sometimes put a -C. I haven't been doing that much lately.
No, but generally you can tell who's posting.
Generally you can, yes.
To that account.
Yes. Yes.
But
different kinds of grammar structure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Definitely. So what are you working on? What have you finished this week?
I have finished something, and as I mentioned, the Harry Potter thing has started up again. And I realized, actually, what I'm not happy about this time is they automatically put us in groups.
They did not let you auto-choose your...
Auto-choose
they
or
auto-chose
opt-out.
it or
opt-out. And that's something I have a problem with, because I'm not really interested in doing all the classes and things like that. But as I was sitting here, now that we've got wee ones entering the family...
We do have wee ones entering the family.
It's easy to get at least one class done a month. And then
Making something for the wee ones?
Yes. So it's not useless stuff.
No.
And I can make baby socks, and I can make all kinds of stuff.
We are going to... I was also going to suggest, we were listening to Gigi and Jasmine of the Knitmores, and they mentioned that layette set that
the blanket,
that
socks.
Right. We can... I'm going to look it up, and then we'll post it below. It's for some... I think refugee or immigration organization.
I didn't hear who it was for, but yes, that would be good.
And you could also start kind of like making a part of that for each.
You could. So I mean, as long it's the problem. Excuse me. The problem is that I was put in a group, and I hate to let people down. So I managed with what I'm going to show you to cover several of the hashtags while completing one class.
There are hashtag challenges?
Yes. So our team is Apple. I'm the first team. Team Apple.
Oh, gosh.
So we're encouraged to make things that you can link to Apple or the color of Apple. I said this had the color of an apple in it.
It does?
Yes. This is my baby Vertebrae, which really doesn't fit our American Girl doll, because this is a 6-month size, and she's more like a newborn size. But I think that it's a very useful sweater, and I can see why you wouldn't necessarily want one covering the whole front, because as we know, babies are often down on tummy time and sleeping like this, and by keeping this free, it's not going to get it all rolled up around their necks and stuff like that. So this is a baby Vertebrae. This is not a free pattern. The free pattern is the newborn Vertebrae. But I am very happy with this, and it reminds me, of the sweater you have on.
The Boothbay?
The Boothbay, because of the way it's cut.
Mm-hmm.
So adults have a lot of sweaters that look like this, and I could see that if you wanted to make mom and baby a magic thing, a Boothbay and this would
There's also a mama Vertebrae.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, anyway, there's a couple different ways you can make matching mom and baby things. This was made out of superwash yarn, so after we podcast, it's going in the washer and then into the dryer, so that I can make sure that it remains roughly the same size. But I am very pleased with it.
It should stay.
Yes, it should stay. We're losing the arms here. As usual with babies, you lose their arms like crazy in here.
Which is why you always tell me to make the arms larger than the pattern typically suggests, so that you can get your own darn hand up there to grab their hand.
Yes, I did a very stretchy bind off. Now what I didn't do what the pattern said. The pattern says go up a needle size, or actually you have 2 different size needles that you're working with, and they said so bind off with the larger needle. I didn't do that. I bound off with a very stretchy bind off. I think it's Judy's very stretchy bind off, where I didn't do every stitch where you work the stitch and then bind it off. Every knit stitch. So this was a knit one, purl one. So every other stitch, I knitted the stitch, and then I knitted those 2 stitches that were then on the right hand needle together.
That's what I do for ribbing typically. And then do you bind off the purl stitch kind of purl-wise?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I was purling it as, but I was purling two together. Yes.
That's what I typically do.
So it keeps the patterning at the
end.
And
it keeps it so it doesn't flare out, but it's still very stretchy.
Incredibly stretchy. In fact, I'm sure that it's much stretchier than it would have been had I just gone to a larger needle, because what's critical in here is that by doing that, knit the stitch and then knit the two together, you've got more yarn in that particular stitch than you would have the other way. And what makes this stretchy is the fact that I've got extra yarn to play with in that bind off. So I can get my hand up there no problem. So I think Mom will be very happy with this. Mom knows something is coming. She doesn't know what. So into the washer, into the dryer, and then I can get this to
Is this co-author?
Yes. This is for my co-author. And her baby is 3 weeks old. So 6 month, we in the Northern Hemisphere is going into winter, so I think that this will be very useful. So I finished this, I don't remember, Wednesday or Thursday.
You didn't text me about it, so I don't know.
Anyway, I'm very pleased with it, and it will soon be done. Now, the good news is I didn't cast on anything of the yarn that we were playing with last week.
That's good. That's growth.
Yes, because I desperately wanted to, between what I was calling my mission and another Rhinebeck sweater. I didn't touch it.
I'm very proud of you.
Myself. I also didn't touch my Rhinebeck sweater that's downstairs, because I do find that by remaining monogamous, I'm actually getting things done, which is a real kick in the head, because I usually got 16 different things going, and nothing's getting done. So while I love the excitement of casting on, I also love the idea of getting things done.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen me over the summer that I've actually been getting things off the needles. In fact, I have a fair number of needles that need to be put in their hanger because they've been liberated, which is really nice. So what I've been working on after that is the Hedgehog Fibers knit-along. It's
the balloon sleeve crop top cardigan.
Except I'm not going to have it as a crop top.
No, you are making it kind of cropped for you. It's hitting your high hip right now.
Yes. But this is going to be...
it won't be tunic length. No. That's what I'm calling crop for Mom.
Yes. But I do like this kind of meld. There's actually 4 different colors.
The marl fade.
This is one color, and this is where you drop A, pick up B. This is all B. This is B and C, and this is all C. And now I'm down here. I've got C and D, and I've just started all D, which is a gray, which we showed you last week. I'm very, very happy with this. I should finish that bottom rib in about an hour, and then I can start with the sleeves, which will be very nice. I've got papers coming in tonight. I figure along about 10:30 I'll start looking at some more of the papers. I've got, I don't know, 27 people in the class. I've already graded 9 that came in.
This is MBA?
This is the MBA class. So
How long are these papers?
After this week, they're going to be longer because they've been pretty poor up until now. I've got some people who've had me in class before, and they're doing a pretty decent paper. I'm really pleased. These people have a written communications rubric, and many of them are ignoring it. So I went through, and somehow an MBA...
Due to formatting? Are they ignoring formatting? Are they ignoring...
Oh, they're ignoring citations. They're ignoring all kinds
And these
of
are like 3 to 5 page papers?
Well, see, that was what wasn't written in there. So I had one that gave me 2 paragraphs that was this big. So I went, oh no, darling, this isn't going to work. And I went back and looked, and the page length had been taken out. So I went back in and I put in the page length. And I said they had to be 5 pages, including the title page and the citations page.
So 3 pages.
3 pages of written content, which for me is 2 full pages and something on the third. It's not this 2 paragraphs totaling about 3 inches. That's not an MBA.
You want 1,000 words plus.
Yes.
Essentially.
So I want MBA master's level reflections. And so now every week that they have reflections, so it's 3rd week, 5th week, and 6th week because...
So it's not every week they have these reflections.
Because week 4
is your midterm?
Midterm.
But at the same time, this is a grad level class.
Absolutely.
I'm just prefacing it for people who might be from abroad, not understanding.
This is a master's level class. It is an online class, and the kids who've had me before are giving me much more of what I want. And so I went back just to check and make sure that the instructions there were more explicit. And somehow, in the movement and the update of this class, that page link got left out. So now, next week when I get the reflections, they're going to have much better structure because you can't give me the depth that I want in 3 inches. It just doesn't happen.
Unless those 3 inches are 1,000 words and you have 4-point font,
right?
And that's why I translated that into
no one's doing
word
that.
Right, but some people might write it that way on their screens, and maybe some people might have not have reformatted it for your eyes. I'm just saying. You want
if
something
that had
that's
happened,
about... Right.
If that had happened, I wouldn't have been complaining about it.
I know that.
I would have made it bigger and said, oh, you're brilliant. So anyway, so now I'm going to see if having the longer length will force them to get more reflective in their reflections. Now, this is in addition to discussions that they do. Now, their discussions
seem to be
are fine. They're fine. They're 2 to 4 inches in length, and then they have to respond. So they're doing that. It's just that their reflections, which I had hoped that they would take some time to read the material, and they have to have read the material by the time they get to this. They can't do this work without having read the material because there's a quiz, an open book quiz, so that at least gets their head in the right direction. So now I think that I will see some better papers. But tonight I could have, something like 18 more 3-inch papers. We'll see. Keep working
the joys of academia.
Yeah, well, it's one of 2 classes. So anyway, so I have been working like a fiend on these things. I think you can tell. And we were at a friend's house this afternoon and doing something that Elizabeth is going to be talking about later. And I had 2 skeins of yarn that if we were going to be there longer, I would have asked to wind up there.
Right.
Instead, I did recast on my Myrna.
I was going to say, I thought I saw you pull out your Myrna.
I did. I recast it on because it was something that I had balled up and I had the directions in my bag. I don't feel bad about that because I couldn't work on anything else.
Right, because you didn't have the gray balled yet.
I didn't.
The gray caked yet.
Exactly. And it's a whip.
It is a whip.
It's a frog whip.
Yeah.
So it's not starting something new. This is a sweater that I had started before. And I hadn't read the directions correctly. So it wasn't turning out the way it should, and I lost interest, and I'm not sure what else happened. But
I also think, for some reason, I'm thinking that you might not have been knitting the right size in that sweater. I think we need to take a look, because...
No, I had upsized. No, I'm okay with it.
You up? Okay.
I'm okay with it. So, anyway, but once I finish this, I'm going directly to that Rhinebeck sweater and not passing go. That Rhinebeck sweater is going to be the next thing on these needles.
And it's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while. The only thing I can say is it will not be the only thing because I have to be sitting with the instructions right in front of me. So I can't do it when I'm in the office. I will probably work on my Myrna while I'm in the office and get that moving. And, keep working through these things. But when I'm sitting in the living room and I can have all of the directions laid out in front of me, it will be the Rhinebeck sweater once this sweater is done. So that's a promise to me.
Probably at the end of this week, then.
Yeah, I would say so, because this body will be done in an hour. I have to do payroll. I will look at some of the papers that have come in. Some won't come in until midnight, so I'm not staying up for them. I can read them tomorrow. And then I can sit on the sofa and work on that brioche sweater. So that's my story. What are you working on over here?
Right now, I just had to change cords on my Humulus, which I will show you all in just a moment. But I very tightly put one of the caps on the needle that I was working the project onto, so that all of a sudden my
stitches go flying out,
which it would be
sometimes,
horrid.
Yes, that'd be terrible.
Which is why I just had to go for a stitch marker to use as a key for the needles. So, oh my God, that looks so much better.
It looks great.
So what I did this week, I finished.
Never mind.
I finished my Ninnilchik, and it's damp right now because I put it in the wash. And then I put it in the dryer. It's super washable. I put it in the dryer for legitimately 2 hours. No, 2.5 hours. First half hour was on delicate, because that's what I usually put my sweaters through. It was still sopping wet.
Yes.
So then I put it in on normal, which is a 45-minute load. And I let it run a little longer than that. Still wet. Set it for another normal cycle, which I let run for an hour. And now it's just, it's nicely damp.
I think what we could have done, had we thought about it, is we could have gotten a towel, put it in a towel, stomped on it to get a lot of
that's what I thought about after.
Because what I do when I put them through the washers, I put it on extra spin cycle in the washer so that it works again to spin it out. And I find that works out pretty well. Because I don't let it go in the dryer if I still think it's really wet.
Yeah, well, I should have done that.
Yes.
I also had a blasting migraine this afternoon.
She did.
Like, to the point where I was feeling extremely ill.
But nothing happened.
Like, to the point where I have this, like, point where I hit where I'm in so much pain, I start unconsciously moaning. And I almost started doing that.
I didn't hear you moan.
No, I was doing little ones. And I noticed, and I stopped myself. Because we were still at our friend's house. And I was like, that was kind of when I was like,
that's a sign.
We should go now. So we did, and she understands because she's known us for long enough.
All right, so go back to this then.
So this was drying on the dining room table. It will go back to doing that on the dining room table.
But it looks
I'm
lovely.
so happy with it. It's probably one of my biggest math achievements in sweater knitting. It's just gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. And it is made out of fused fiber yarn, and it qualifies for the Indian Tangled knit-along, because I ended up starting it after the July, I think, 18th or something like that. Start day, which ends at Rhinebeck. I will be opening a forum thread in Indian Tangled. If you have anything you have from any of the Indian Tangled sponsor, well, not sponsors, Indian Tangled retailers, thank you.
Welcome.
And you are going to be knitting it in that time frame, from middle of July up until Rhinebeck. I'll put the link to the form in the down bar, and also you'll see, if you are on the Indian Tangled group, that a thread for the 2019 knit-along will be opened this week.
Okay.
I just noticed that it hadn't been opened, and it just slipped our minds. So I am not officially affiliated with Indian Tangled. I just wanted to let you all know that. But due to the fact, that I use Ravelry quite regularly, I was made a moderator. Just because
you can check on.
I can check on those things or come up with these kinds of,
Good idea.
Hey, you have you sent out this newsletter, or this in a newsletter. We should make a thread. So, just wanted to let you all know, I understand that people have strong feelings about ticketing at getting tickets and such at Indian Tangled. I have nothing to do with that.
Right.
Please do not come at me for that, because I will defend my friends strongly.
It's another event. There's Needles Up.
Yes. Then there's the Rhinebeck. Christy. Yes, the Rhinebeck yarn.
Christy.
It has Yarn Bazaar. It's the Rhinebeck Yarn Bazaar. So now there are 3 events on Friday.
That you could go to.
Yeah.
And everybody that comes to Rhinebeck's not going to fit into Needles Up.
They're not going to fit into Indian Tangled or into the Yarn Bazaar.
And the Yarn Bazaar also had a limit on it, didn't it?
No.
Oh, Dinner did.
Dinner did, yes.
So, we're lucky that the interest in getting together and knitting is growing so much.
Yes.
That people want to come and do this. And that's exciting, because I can remember when you knit at home by yourself, and you'd run into people, if you knit in public, they say, well, so few people do that. And you say, yeah, you're right, because you had no idea who else was knitting. Now with Instagram and YouTube and Ravelry, we know there's a lot of us that are doing this. And the information about the state fairs and the different events is easily passed around. So we're incredibly lucky.
Well, and this past weekend was the New Jersey Sheep and Wool, which we didn't make it to.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I realized it, but I also was working on Saturday, so I figured it was probably better if I didn't mention it.
Well, soon, Richard is, if the contract gets signed, he will not be working after December 31st. So then I will be free to go and do things on Saturday, too, because right now, I answer the phone in his office. I'm his front desk. So if he's working on a Saturday, so am I. So it does make it difficult to get out to these things unless we know, pretty well in advance and make those kinds of plans. So there's always next year.
Always
next year.
But, things like that. Okay. So
you have a lot of stuff out here.
I do. I have a lot. I have a lot to talk about. This week I've been very full of thoughts.
Very crafty.
Very crafty. You should have seen some of the text messages. I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I was thinking about all of the advent calendars and the advent calendar I got last year and how I would like to use that yarn. And I had seen a sweater on Instagram a whole bunch of times, and I couldn't remember what it was called, and I knew it had a V-neck, and I knew it was perfect. And I knew it was with minis, specifically was made for scrappy fingering weight.
This is where you have one main color and then all of these?
No.
I can't.
And I showed it to you.
I know,
and
I don't remember.
I know. And I couldn't, I didn't send it to you on Instagram, and I didn't send it to you in a text message, because believe me, I checked. I must have showed it to you while we were sitting like this somewhere.
Yeah.
I was very upset. I texted Ashby, I texted Shamika, and I texted Tanya, and all 3 of them came up with everything but this. And then I don't remember. Oh, I searched on Ravelry using the advanced search functions.
Right.
I searched for minis. Or did I search? I might have just searched fingering weight, sweat, like pullover, V-neck.
Okay.
And I found the V-back tee. So it's got a V in the back. And then I opened up I clicked it.
And
it says that it's a cousin or a sister to the Scrappy V tee. Or the Scrappy V.
That's going in my queue.
Oh, it's amazing. So I was very excited to find that because I think it's going to be perfect for the gradient that I made out of, out of the yarn that I got in the Goosey Fibers,
Advent calendar.
Advent calendar. Thank you.
You're welcome.
as I mentioned, I had a very, very bad migraine today, and this is what happens.
Oh, that's pretty.
I know. It's very pretty.
But I think you also showed me something that had black and then stripes of
So there's that.
That.
The lineage sweater?
Yeah. Let's write that down, too.
I'm going to. So this is what Mom is talking about. What I'm talking about is this, which they also did in a
cool colors,
like some more like scrappy kind of situations. And so I'm very excited about that. But I found that, and so the V-back tee, this is the first one that I found that I was like, that's so close.
Oh, that's lovely.
I know. I'm going to write them all down, Mom.
Okay.
I have them in my paper.
I like that.
And then, so because I was looking at Mini-Skein usage, I also saw the Dragon Rider, which is amazing.
That's a brioche. Yes.
It's a fisherman's rib.
Ooh, well that's a neat technique.
Exactly.
I like that sweater.
I know.
Oh, we're going to have to put that in the queue,
So, look at that. And especially because you have 3 sets of Mini-Skeins coming to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
You do. Which is fine. It's great. So that, and then I know we've mentioned these before, but I just wanted to throw it out there again because advent calendars are starting to, like, sell out. / if you haven't already been on the advent calendar trend or other such things, I am very conscious of the fact that Advent is a Christian season of celebration, and that it can be very exclusive for our Jewish friends and family who, you know, might not want to participate because there are very religious connotations to Advent due to the word Advent.
Right.
And
so I think it's up to dyers to put out calendars that are very similar to this but have a different name.
Yes, and I know Yarn Over New York is doing one, and I also think Lisa from Indie Untangled is looking into doing something with her people. But I just wanted to let everyone know that we are conscious of, that this is a very
Advent calendar.
Right, but we also want to acknowledge the fact.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of different holidays.
Right. So, another thing, the separate ways, the Hohi. Yeah. So this is one of the first ones that we all thought of when I was trying to describe it, because fingering weight, Mini-Skein, you could use Mini-Skeins, and it has a V-neck. And I was like, no, guys, it's not a Hohi pattern, I promise. And then there was the other pattern that just came out in... Did I not save it? Of course I didn't save it. But it's a pom-pom pattern. And it was also... There are 2. There's the one with the slip stitches. Let's see if I can find it.
Pom-pom?
Yeah. Go.
A little slow.
Because Dad's home. I don't know why, but whenever Dad's home... Oh. Sorry, my watch just started buzzing, and that's because my timer is done for my...
laundry.
Well, my kitchen towels, which is, you know...
Pretty important.
Pretty important.
Why don't you say Pompom Magazine?
Sources. Pompom Quarterly. Yes, but I don't remember what... Oh, no. Sorry, I am not as coordinated as usual to have it already queued up and everything, but just didn't happen. So one of them that I'm thinking of is Trove, which we showed you all last week, which you could make each little section, instead of repeating your colors, you could use a different colorway.
So that one is another one that has a main color.
Yes.
Yes. I like that idea.
I know you do. I know you do.
Well,
because it ties it together. No, I understand why. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I don't need to look like Christmas tree
but
lights.
I think this would also be lovely.
That would.
I think that Sorry, I didn't look at the name before I showed it to you all. The
Rivelex?
We both know French, and we both have screwed it up, and I'm sorry. But it's this, and we'll link it down below. But it's got stripes on both sides and a center panel, and they're a little offset, and it's just beautiful.
It's very, very good.
And I think you could use minis to do that.
I think so, too.
Or even half skeins, if that's what you're getting in different things. So actually, let me
I was just thinking my Rhinebeck from Lady Di ought to be coming soon.
Did she say it was coming out in September or in October?
I'm not sure, but Rhinebeck's coming up.
In October, yes.
Yes. In the middle of October.
Yes, because I have something coming from her in the next few weeks.
What you've got coming?
I might or might not have signed up for one of the clubs.
Oh.
I signed up for one of her September clubs.
I like that.
That?
That's
the thing
what
I'm working on?
Yes.
Yes. So, I just wanted to let you all know that these are mini skeins and also the drama behind trying to figure out this one pattern. Because it took me all day. I didn't even care that it was on my work computer and I had multiple tabs open trying to figure this out, because sometimes how you get that little earworm?
Yes.
And you're like, I need to figure this out. That's how I was. I could not focus on anything else for longer than a half hour.
So you got it figured out.
Oh yeah. I was half-hour chunks, and then I'd take 2 minutes and do some quick searching again. And then finally it worked. So, I have my minis. So this I'm thinking of using as the collar and cuffs and hem.
Nice.
Because
Are these 20-ounce skeins?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have 16 20-ounce
worms
skeins. Yes. That I'm trying to be able to hold up. We're gonna try this. Hold on, I'm trying this.
Okay.
I have long fingers.
Okay.
Well, it works, sort of.
Yeah.
So
they're lovely.
That's kind of my gradient that I'm looking at, and I'm thinking of going this way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So
that
might be something I cast on once I finish this current sweater, because I realized I really do like wearing fingering weight sweaters to the office in the late spring, which means I would also like to wear them in
early fall
/ through the fall, because my office is already very cold to me. This week was the first week that I was extremely cold. I wore my... So we only had 4 days of work this week. I wore my... Did I wear... I think I wore my boy Lollipop on Monday. On Tuesday I wore something else that was knit. Wednesday I wore my Soldatna. And on Thursday I wore just a button-down thing with a jacket over it. And then I wore my fleece-lined jacket that I keep at the office when I was in the office all day.
I wore my Elphaba on Friday.
So. Nice. Yeah. It's not that it's cold. It's really not that it's cold. It's because I'm thinking when it gets to be springtime, when it becomes springtime and it's this temperature, we're like, oh my God, it's warm.
Well, plus I'm in an old building.
Yeah.
So just like you're in construction.
Yeah.
I'm in an old brick building, so overnight it cools down. My class is at 9 o'clock in the morning, so and I'm leaving the house at 5:30, so it's coolish. So I can get away with a half-length sleeve.
Oh yeah,
and it's open, so it really was quite comfortable. As it gets later in the season, I'll wear a turtleneck underneath of it in order to be able to wear that, but. No, I was comfortable. I didn't wear a jacket. It was very nice. Yes.
Yeah, yes. I've had to pull out the jean jacket because it is getting slightly chilled on my walk to and from work.
Okay.
So the Ninnilchik is done. I figured out the I figured out the mystery of what the scrappy VT was, and then I cast on, actually, I didn't, like, leave it very long at all. I think I bound off the sleeves, and I immediately cast this on. So no, I didn't do a gauge swatch, because it's studio worsted, and you know what? We're just going to go with it, because I started doing it, and I took the gauge ruler, and I was close enough.
Okay.
It's an oversized sweater anyways. I'm knitting a 40.5.
Okay.
Anyways, so, and it already is decently, like, if I put it up to myself, I have not hit the divide for the sleeves, and I'm not fully stretched out around these needles, and we already
go shoulder
to shoulder.
Very nice.
I'm okay. AKA, do what we say, not what we do. So this is my Humulus.
Usually you do have a swatch. You're the queen of big
I am
swatches.
the queen of big swatches. I know. Like Jasmine is the queen of itty-bitty baby swatches. I'm the queen of the giant swatch. But that's also because I've been doing a lot of things that are color work. And
yes, and this is another one.
Right, but this is much smaller color work. I only have another 8 rows of color work to do. So this is the Humulus by Isabell? Shoot. Let me pull up trying to pull up the name. By Isabell Kraemer. This is out of Neighborhood Fiber Co. Studio worsted in Parkland and Petworth.
Nice. And
it's just beautiful. The Petworth has some spots of more like a purple-blue rather than a brown, and the Parkland has some pops of brown. And it's working out really well. And it's really pretty. And I'm really excited to have a sweater in this color. I don't have a lot of green.
No, it's kind of out of your comfort zone.
But I kind of love it.
It's a good dye job.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's going to look great with my purple hair. I'm excited.
Yes.
So that's what I've been working on. I've been trying to be pretty monogamous in the house. And when here at this house, I didn't bring it upstairs because I haven't done much work on it. But I've been working on the Hitchhiker as my purse project. I kind of want to move to socks because I like wearing socks at work in my like hand knit socks with my work boots.
Time of year.
But I wear them with my work boots all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to make more, but I also want to get this done. So right now I'm having that internal struggle.
It's quite a struggle.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do a thing like I did with your shawl where I finish the body, or maybe if I put the body on holders and I do the sleeves of this sweater, and then I don't allow myself to finish the sweater, which I'm going to really, really want to finish until I finish the shawl. That might be a thing.
It's a thing.
I might do that. We'll see. So that's what I've been working on and just been playing with. So the colors I showed you for my Scrappy V are not all of the colors from the Goosey Fibers. These are the other ones, which I'm thinking they are. I'm thinking I just couldn't fit them in the gradient well.
No, but that
I'm thinking of making like a grab bag pair of like knee-high socks. A la the like fluorite pattern. So I might have to split these into 10-gram skeins, just so I could match them. But that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm not quite sure.
It's a dusty.
Yeah, I've got
dusty kind of
100.
colorways.
I've got 180 right here, and then I've got
socks. The
full skein here.
Ah, yes.
So I could make knee highs, I think.
Oh, easily.
So I might look at that fluorite, the fluorite pattern from Pompom maybe a year or two ago.
We have it.
We have it. I know we have it. So I may take a look at that and see what the requirements are. Just have that in the back of my head. So that's something. So the other thing I found was the Jig shawl so it's called the Jig shawl by Stephen West. It's ridiculous, and I love it. And I think for minis, so there are 22 sections, and I think you could I'm thinking maybe of doing it with one of our, or with the Great British Bake Off base, the Earl Grey Fibre Co. Yarn, or advent calendar, and taking a mini and getting some like lace weight Surrey alpaca in maybe a gray, and holding those two together, and knitting each section with each day's yarn.
Interesting.
Because I think it'd be really interesting, and I think it's a pattern that I think really could work with almost anything. He designed it with 4 colors and a mohair. But I think it could work. But that's kind of something I'm thinking about. Yeah.
That's a good thought.
I know. I'm very excited. So uses for minis / making our baby-sized show notes before we put them in the down bar. But yeah, so that's a thing that's been in my head a lot, just because I'm trying to figure out.
I love all the sweaters you found.
I know.
So I'm really glad we're going to have that in the down bar.
I know. I can also
and they're
share
going to go
that.
on my queue.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If you lose the down bar, you can look at my queue.
Well, I can also make it a bundle, I think, on Ravelry, and I'll work on that.
Okay. That would be good.
Make a bundle. So that's that. But yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to figure out how many Mini-Skein or advent calendars I want to get this year.
Now, have you signed up for the...
I did get the
right?
GBVO. Yes, I did. Because I talked it over with Tanya, and we decided together, because
Is that one I got?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We are going... Well, and that was also the thing. I was like, Mom's getting it already, but I'm going to be upset if I really love it, and I missed out on it. So when she opened the second round last week, I ordered... Or not last week, on Monday.
the Great British Bake Off is back. I think we mentioned it last week.
Season 7 is being released on Fridays every week of the season on Netflix.
So it plays on Tuesday nights in Great Britain. We get it by Friday.
And the Instagram, as I said last week, I believe, is very good of not revealing who went home until Friday. So you have to be a little vigilant because they only post it once, really. So I kind of got spoiled yesterday or on Friday when I was scrolling my Instagram, but I also wasn't
not surprised.
I'm not surprised, but I'm also not overly invested in the bakers just yet.
Right.
So just we will mention that yes, they are very respectful to not post until Friday. However, I would hope that they would decide to post later on American time than they currently do.
That's
but
an
that's
American-centric point of view.
Correct, but I'm just saying, for those they are releasing it on Netflix for the Americans.
Yes.
So, just saying. But I'm very excited. It's not the same without Mary, Mel, and Sue, but
I really love Mary, Mel, and Sue. That's such a great
Sandy
group.
is growing on me.
Yes,
Sandy is growing on me, but not as much.
Mel and Sue were immediately great.
Yes.
I'm sorry. But
no, they were.
They were. And Mary Berry, she's fantastic.
As I think Candace said in one of her interviews in like the very beginning of her season, which I think is season 4, collection 4 on Netflix, that she just wants to ask Mary Berry to be her gran.
Because she would set tough challenges, but she was supportive of the bakers, and instead of, I get the feeling sometimes they want to catch them out, and That's
They kind of want to...
That's kind of antithetical to the Great British Bake Off, because when we saw session 2 last night, one fellow was having trouble getting his pieces out of the molds, and someone ran over to help him. And the contestants are really quite supportive.
The bakers,
yes,
That's
are really supportive of each other. So to have judges who are perhaps a little bit snarkier than Mary Berry was with Paul.
No, she was snarky with Paul. I think she was not as snarky with the
contestants.
With the bakers,
right.
Yeah.
So I do love Mary Berry.
But yes, this is, as we have said before, not a Great British Bake Off podcast. But we could probably do that, let's be real. So those are things that have been on my mind in addition to just knitting, because of all of the advent calendars and the fact that I probably need to decide what I want, if I want to order more.
Speaking of which, we need to start thinking about Christmas gifts.
Yes, we do.
Like, what are we giving Nan?
And what are we have to start putting together our lists, because in a month and a half, 2 months, Nan is going to start asking.
I know.
And everyone is going to start asking, so we've got to... Speaking of, actually, that was a good segue.
Okay.
My aunt and uncle got me helped me pay for the Kickstarter for the electric eel Nano, which is what is in front of you right now.
It's so tiny.
Last year for Christmas. It did come, full disclosure, it came about a month ago, but yes, I'm active on Ravelry. I've not been active on their Ravelry. I haven't really been reading into it, because I've been a little scared, because I don't want to break it. And so I didn't want to do something wrong. But our friend Rachel, who is in our knitting group with us, offered to kind of do little tutorial lessons with those of us who are new spinners who got the electric eel. So we went over to her apartment this afternoon, and we did a little tutorial.
Tricked it out.
We did. So she had researched all sorts of different things when she was putting hers together. Hacks that they have put together to make it even quieter. It was pretty darn quiet the first time. It did have a little bit of a whir and a little bit of a clack, but I wouldn't have minded it. Right. But it is now extremely quiet.
Incredible.
You won't be able to hear it because I don't have it plugged in, and I don't have
the batteries.
Well, and I don't have a battery pack for it yet. But it is extremely small, fits in my hand, and it's just so cute. And I did all that. I spun all that
with a migraine.
And with a migraine, yeah. We decided
it can go very slowly.
It can go pretty decently slowly. I think I've worked I do want to start doing. Probably spinning at least 1 or 2 days a week for 15, 20 minutes, just to keep my hands knowing what to do. I do find this easier, more accessible for me to continue doing and to do that 15 minutes a day than I do with my spindle. And I think that's more of a psychological thing because, yes, it's a drop spindle. It drops. I think my brain computes that into failure, and then I don't want to keep doing it.
All right.
It's
everybody person.
Exactly. Yes. This, you start seeing getting thin, you can turn it down, you can start leading more fiber onto it. I'm really happy with it. I'm really excited. It fits my brain really well. And so we put some felt in the groove here and in the throats here, and we put a washer in between the bobbin and the two ends. We sanded down the post that holds the bobbin, and for quietness, we added little rubber feetsies to hold it off of the table to allow more air circulation for the motor, and it's extremely quiet. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about this. But yes, it has arrived. I have played with it. I now feel much more confident in my ability to do things with it. As I mentioned to Rachel earlier today, that I think I have a lot of like little bips and bobs of fiber, and I know a lot of people who, when they get better at spinning, they don't want to spin with their early stuff because it's not as
not as good quality, doesn't draw as well.
It's not as consistent. It's not as consistent, so they don't want to knit with it because it's not their best that they've done. And so I knew when I started the spindle spinning that I wanted to do something with that yarn as well, or with that fiber that I created or made into yarn as well. And I found the Brioche version of the Cozy Memories blanket.
Oh, what a good idea.
I think it's called Brioche Memories. I'm going to write that down, but we're going to look it up. And I think that would be fun to do with the little whatever, once I apply that up, becomes. So yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do until I start feeling more confident, even when I don't feel more confident. Since I'm probably going to not be sitting and spinning a lot, and I don't have...
You have a lot.
I've got that little like art box of stuff.
Yes.
That the art box that you gave Nana a bunch of, and one was broken and you gave it to me. It's not the same size as a boot box. It's a little bit smaller than a boot box from the Container Store, which is what I have a lot of my yarn in. That isn't just in the cabinet.
Right.
So I only have about that much fiber, and I don't have anything like a sweater quantity or anything. So we'll see.
So Rhinebeck's coming.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just stick with what I have and go from there. Because I'm just gonna go. Try and take it slow. Try not to build up too much fiber. Also, because I think this will probably irritate the boyfriend's allergies more.
Yes, that floating
the
fiber
fluff
in the air.
Yeah. So I just don't want. I want to be cognizant of that. So that is something that happened. Another thing that came in the mail this week, well, that wasn't in the mail this week, but another thing that came in the mail this week is my new sock blockers from Knitting Left. They do these lovely wooden laser cut sock blockers, and I got the turtles because I have a thing for turtles and for otters.
When you talk about laser cut, is that like a CNC machine?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. So they have little turtles on them. They've got she has all kinds of animals and different dog breeds, and different non-animal designs as well. I actually found out about her from Gigi, from Gay, from Gigi Made It, and so yeah. Thanks for enabling this. Because actually, I'm really excited because once...
Don't they have otters, too?
No, they don't have otters. I thought I was safe. They didn't have any otters. They had turtles, though. My second favorite. So I got the turtles. But I really like it because some of my socks, I really feel I want to, like, stretch out. These are specifically these, because the heel and ankle, this section gets a little tight on my foot when I'm putting them on. So I think putting them on the sock blockers while they're drying is
brilliant.
A brilliant idea. Also because I've used your sock blockers, but they're
a little more narrow.
They're a little bit more narrow, which is fine, but these stretch these out the way that I want them to be stretched out. And now you'll get much better finished sock photos.
Right.
Because I have sock blockers.
What's the pattern?
This is the vanilla is the new black. You can tell by the fancy heel. And it is these are Nomadic Yarns sock weight in Rhinebeck sweater stripes.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's that. See, this is what happens when we actually decide to write notes.
We talk more.
We talk more, but also you get pauses where I write the notes. So what else came this week was my Nerd Girl Random Fandom, which is based off of Mortal Engines this month.
What is that?
It's called Municipal Darwinism. It's quite pretty.
I like the nips.
The nips.
Yeah.
Yep. It's Dingo, so this is superwash merino with nylon tweed nips. So Mortal Engines is a book series and also a movie by Philip Pullman, the books.
Ah, okay.
And it is a dystopian world that there are traction cities. So giant, robotic, moving cities that eat other, like, smaller cities.
I can't even wrap my head around it.
You'd have to listen to it. It's much easier to understand if you're, like, listening or reading the book. Actually, we could watch it. It's on HBO. We could watch it.
Okay.
Sometime. But it's a beautiful colorway. I think it would make lovely socks. We'll see. I know, me, who said I would never be knitting socks because they take so long when I could use that time for sweaters. But socks, they're lovely.
See?
We're both sock lovers over here.
Yes.
Well, I never said it.
I'm going to have to try that Vanilla's the New Black.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I use it for the worsted weight stuff. Mm-hmm. More.
I like your skew socks, too.
You should try them on next time. Yes. When I bring them over next time. And
sounds good.
To see if you want to use the same kind of thing as I do.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that have come in the mail this week. Those are things that we've done that. I still haven't started any of the baby stuff that I need to have done by the end of October.
Well, I haven't either.
I know, but I have like 4 sweaters
I gave the
planned.
one to, Fiona, I gave.
You did.
That,
good.
So I figure next month, October, I can do a sweater
for the other one.
For another class.
Mm-hmm.
And then each baby will have had one knitted thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I've got my yarn over here.
Oh.
So, neither one of this is superwash, is it? So, this is Corriedale and nylon. This is for hand wash. Wait a minute. Nope. If I take off this label, and on the other label...
Hand wash, warm water.
Machine
wash, gentle cycle.
Yay. Okay, that is a plus. This is hand-dyed yarn, single ply. Machine wash. All right, we got machine wash on both of these. And then what is this? This is Swagger. This is superwash. So I've got 3
options.
3 options here. So I figure Fiona will probably get another sweater. And Nubbins will probably get 2. So one of these, I think, is going to be another
baby vertebrae.
Baby vertebrae. Maybe this.
That would be fun.
Another baby vertebrae in this, and then these 2 will be some maybe slightly lacy work or something. We'll see. So these are my 3 baby sweaters. My mother was asking me, so what are you going to make for babies? Well, baby sweaters you can make up in no time at all.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know just yet, but I obviously will make one. So those will be my classes.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I have a penguino to knit.
Right.
I need to wind up the mohair, which I will do before I leave tonight, because the winder here, we have a shacked, I like to call it
heavy duty winder.
I like to call it a vertical winder because it's a vertical.
Not like this.
Yeah, you hold your hand vertically to wind it, but whereas
and it will wind very large.
The horizontal one is the one that you stick on the end. It's like a Lasix or a Royal ball winder, which is what I have at home, which is plastic, and I've had it fling the more silky stuff and mohair and such off of its cone.
Right.
Whereas the Shact is wood and will hold it a little bit more.
Yes.
Just something I've noticed. We are lucky that we have 2 different winders in, 2 different places.
Well, this one right here, we got on a Black Friday.
Yeah.
Down in Alexandria, Virginia at Fibre Space.
Yes.
So.
After I talked you out of the fact that you thought you needed a Nancy's Knit Next self-winding one. Electric one.
Yes.
Because Fibre Space has one that you press a button and it goes. And I was like, Mom, you do not need an electric ball winder. And she goes, yes, I do. Mom, you do not need an electric ball winder. Yes, I do. It took a while. It took a while. But finally talked her out of it for that Black Friday. But yeah, I think
that's about it. Babe.
Yeah. Oh, but so I looked over.
Yeah.
I have a lot of yarn, like, just piled up in its different projects at the end of my couch, because that's how my brain is working right now, because there's a lot of storms going through. I don't know how much. So the Knit Wars do like a 1-minute health update. We're kind of going to do that right now. So I know I've mentioned I get migraines. Mom gets them too. I'm on the new medication that is monthly, that just was released about a year ago to the general public.
Has it been helping?
It has been helping. However, this is the first hurricane fall storm season I'm in with it. So I am noticing I have more migraines now than I did in the spring and summer. But that could also be just the fact that
tremendous barometric changes.
Exactly. And I don't have my next, it's an injection. I don't have my next one until Saturday. So I have noticed that last week before and a friend of mine who did Botox for migraines, likened it to the fact that she used to be able to tell when she needed to go in, or when she was supposed to go in for the next Botox, because she would start feeling ill again. And I have noticed that over the last 3 or 4 months. This coming up injection will be my 6th month. So I have been in less pain, but my migraines are very interesting, and recently with all of the fluctuations and everything, my brain just wants to organize my stuff, but not organize it and put it away. I want to be able to still see it, because I want to acknowledge the fact that I have made a plan.
Oh, okay. Well, I just need to see it, because otherwise for me it's gone.
You have some object permanence issues.
I do. It's like, we had a German Shepherd. His name was Winston. And
he's in her wedding photo.
Yes. He was very large. He could lay his head on the kitchen table. He was so tall. He thought that if he could hide his head under the bed and he couldn't see you, that you couldn't see any part of him. Meanwhile, the whole rest of his body would be sticking out from under the bed, and you'd come in and go, Winston, and he'd stiffen up. But he felt if he stayed still with his head under the bed, you wouldn't see him. Well, for me, if I don't see something, it's gone. You know. So that's why there's yarn out all over the place, so that I can see it.
Also, why we don't have doors on the yarn stuffs. I have doors on mine because it's also my entertainment unit, and also because I have a boyfriend who is allergic to wool.
But I need to see it, so that I can understand that.
So that is, I acknowledge the fact that it's probably
a little
messy. But I also acknowledge the fact...
organization in the mess.
And I also acknowledge the fact that it is what's making my brain happy, which means that I am not having, like, high anxiety issues, which is also tied to my migraines, which is super fun. And more information than you all needed. But just, it's real life. Yes. And these things happen. And maybe you're going through similar things and trying to tell yourself, I need to clean this up, but your brain is telling you, no, I'm going to go do this instead. Sometimes you just have to listen to it. And sometimes you just need to take a weekend and clean up your entire darn apartment, which is probably what I'm going to have to do the weekend after Rhinebeck. But we'll see. But I had pulled out these 3. So my cousin and my favorite colors are like purples.
Yes.
And so I pulled these three. This is a gray. I acknowledge that. But this deep purple to the purple gray to the gray is lovely. And then I saw this Ella Ray sitting
Oh, how pretty.
as the main color. So I need to call Cheryl and see if she has any more of this in this color. So I can make a Beba sweater with this as some color work and this
That's very pretty.
as the main color. Probably won't use all of it up, but I do think it'll be very cute and very pretty, and I might make then some coordinating objects to go with it. So this is for Nugget. And then I found this little bobbin, or bauble. Ball.
Cake.
Again, there's a stage of migraine. There are 4 stages to a migraine. There is the prodrome, the aura, the attack. It's best. It's the fact that it's called the attack. My favorite part, because that's when you feel the pain. And then the postdrome. The postdrome can feel like a hangover, and you can still have issues with your words and with different cognitive function type of things. So I'm currently in that stage, which we call migraine brain. That was one thing that I found really interesting that I didn't understand had medical terms until I had friends in medical school who were learning about migraines in their academics. And they were like, this is a thing! And I was like,
I could have told you
I have a word for it now.
Right.
Which was great. So, I don't know. But this is Rosemont in Neighborhood Fiber Company. And I love this green. I love it. It's a sagey...
Yes.
It's just
almost like a sagey green blue. There's blue in it.
It just feels very calming to me.
The sea is in it, too.
It's a bit pond scummy,
mm-hmm.
but in a lovely, relaxing, gentle sort of way. So I think I might figure out how much yardage I have left of this and see if I can make nubbins a little something out of that, too.
Wow.
But...
Your hands are going to be busy.
Yeah. So, my Nevertheless She Knitted bag by Nerdbird Makery is currently my nubbins bag.
Huh.
I have another bag which is full of Fiona sibling stuff. Her older brother is going to be getting some sweaters to coordinate with some sweaters she has. Because I made... One of them
one of them
I made for him when he was being born, so now I need to make him one, because he's now going to be 2. And then I knit the Bumble sweater for the baby shower for Fiona, and I want to make, I think, the bigger one for him, because I think it'd be really cute. But first need to finish the second, and this is my second Rhinebeck sweater, the Humulus. And I'm going to probably be, or I am going to be making pants to coordinate with this out of that brown that I got from Mood. I have to finish putting, I was planning on this afternoon putting the rest of that pattern together and maybe tracing it. But
the head got in the way.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be done soon, because I think we only have like 2 weekends that we can sew that.
And I got my sewing machine back.
This is my slightly anxious face.
Oh.
This is
anyway, I got my sewing machine back. I had broken 2 parts from wear and tear, but they didn't cost very much.
That's good.
So it is back and ready to rock and roll. So, I'll have, unfortunately, because I'm teaching this online class that finishes right about the same time as Rhinebeck, I won't have as much time to do stuff before Rhinebeck as I will have next year.
Yes.
As I won't be teaching at all next year.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. And I was just looking, all that stuff over there
is going to be gone.
You
can make that. You know what you should do?
Fabric?
No.
What?
You should make that instead of out here. You should make that your visual cue.
Yes.
Because you keep saying how you want to clean up the table area,
I do.
The desk area. That could be your. She
Absolutely.
has another one of these single stacks. This one over in the corner of the room over there, and that'd be great. You could make that like your visual cue.
Absolutely. I've got 3 shelves over there.
You do?
Yeah. That will be good.
It will be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've taken up over an hour of your time.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how that
happened. It's 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're so glad you came. We're so
Yes.
glad you came to visit. As you know, we will be at Rhinebeck, so please say hi.
Yes.
Introduce yourself. Love to see you. We're going to be teaching on Saturday.
Mhm.
I think we start at 2 in the afternoon.
We have a morning class
I know,
and an
but in the
class.
afternoon, we'll be on the hill from 1 to 2.
I think so.
Okay. So we'll be, the podcasters hill, I believe, is from 1 to 2. We'll have to, like, scoot out maybe 10 to 2. But we will be there. We're going to be there on Sunday. We think we're going to be there, like, from in and around Rhinebeck from Thursday on is the plan.
Yeah, because we keep on saying we want to explore around.
I've not been in Rhinebeck itself.
Yeah. So
I've been at the fairgrounds, but not Rhinebeck. So
we might also do a bit of a kind of a prep drive to figure out our Friday route. It will probably have more traffic, obviously, on Friday, but just to see if it's even feasible for our current plan.
Well, we're volunteering early.
We are. So. And
I'm not planning to go to Needles Up.
No, but we want to go to the Rhinebeck Yarn Bazaar.
Yes.
And then we go back to dinner at Saugerties.
Yeah, so we'll have to figure this out.
Which is why I just thought of the idea of doing the dry run.
Absolutely, Thursday.
Yes. Okay. So I think this is going to be where we weave in those ends on that Vertebrae and that Ninnilchik. Yes. And we will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.